He's right there.
That's a big ass fish. That's a monster, Mike. Good job.
Double locked up.
And that's why we're obviously outdoorsmen. What's going on, everybody? I am Mike with Obviously Outdoorsman, and we are back with another podcast. This is First Light Talk number 34 of the Obviously Outdoorsman podcast. And today's topic, 5 ways to fill your tag late season, basically the last ditch effort of your season, whether it's late season or winter bow, depending where you're hunting. Right, this is the last ditch effort, and we're going to tell you 5 ways that you can increase your chances on filling your tag this late season. But before we get to that, if you guys are new to Obviously Outdoorsman, basically here at Obviously Outdoorsman, we try and help you guys shoot bigger bucks, just give you hunting tactics, fishing tactics, catch bigger fish, whether it's trout or bass or crappie or striper or mahi, whatever it may be, whatever the species, we try and teach you guys to catch bigger fish, and just tips and tactics on how to catch more fish. And we try and help you guys shoot bigger bucks, harvest bears, harvest pheasant, harvest turkey, whatever it may be. We try and teach you guys hunting and fishing tips and tactics. So if you guys are new, you're going to want to subscribe and follow us on YouTube and follow our podcast to stay constantly tuned for when we post, so you guys can shoot bigger bucks and catch bigger fish. But back to today's topic. All right, 5 ways to fill your tag late season. So it's centered around trying to fill your tag in the last few days of deer season. Obviously, you've hunted hard all season, and it's coming down to the wire on not eating tag soup and enjoying a nice juicy backstrap. Whether you're trying to lay some last minute bone on the ground or just trying to fill your freezer with a doe, we're going to go over 5 tips and ways to make that happen late season. Right, normally when we are talking late season and winter bow, that calls for frigid temperatures and snow. And in winter months, well, post-rut, your mind as a hunter should switch to feeding and their bedding and the trails that connect them. So number 1, look for south-facing hills and cover that just soak up the sunshine. Kind of just switch your mindset to like a shed hunting point of view. Where do the bucks spend most time during that late winter time of year? They're going to be soaking up the sunshine and in the feeding areas and where they connect. So if you guys are good at shed hunting or shed hunt a lot, you're looking for the same things during hunting season, like a month prior to when they shed their antlers. So these areas will be prime bedding areas during the day when there's frigid temperatures. Just some south side facing slopes and hills, and just anywhere that soaks up just a bunch of sunshine. And these deer and mature bucks will bed anywhere with a vantage point with good cover, whether it be down trees, thick cover, or mountain laurel. They want to be in a place where they can see threats coming, where the threat can't see them, with hot sunshine exposure. So when you're scouting and come across prime bedding areas, you'll want to set up on the trails entering or leaving the bedding area where the deer can't see you entering or accessing your stand location. So if you are having trouble basically trying to find deer late season and you don't really know where to start, or if you just haven't been able to get out late season and you're just like, okay, I got 2 weeks left and I finally got time off of work, or I could finally go out, and you head out there and you're basically starting from scratch, you know, late season, frigid temps, maybe there's snow on the ground, then you're going to want to look for south-facing slopes. This is tip number 1, where anywhere that is soaking up just a bunch of sunshine, and just set up your stands or your blind or wherever you like to sit in. If it's on a bucket or in a 30-feet tree stand, you want to set that up on the trails entering or leaving their bedding area. You really don't want to set up directly in their bedding area. That would be kind of stupid, leaving your scent in there and pushing them out of their bedding area if they're in there. But you just want to be setting up on the trails, entering or leaving, and you want to be far enough away from that bedding area to where they can't see you accessing your stand location. On to number 2. Late season calls for snow at many times, and fresh snow calls for very recent deer sign and recent deer movements. So, number 2, try cutting tracks. And when I mean cutting tracks, I mean literally walking through the woods, finding tracks in the snow and following them. Right? Fresh snow calls for quiet woods and prime spot and stalking conditions. walk until you find the tracks and just follow them slowly. I can't emphasize that enough, slowly. You don't know how far that deer is from the tracks that you just cut, and if it's bedded down out in front of you or feeding around, move slowly and sneak in for a shot opportunity by being proactive. All right, not just sitting in a stand freezing your ass off this entire day or season or hunt. You want to get out there, and if there's fresh snow on the ground, when I'm talking fresh snow, I'm talking like you wake up for first light and it just snowed overnight. So you just have very fresh, recent deer sign. And if you follow them and you cut tracks over the night after it just snowed, like let's say, even if it's just a coating of snow, even if it's a 1/2 inch to 6 inches, then you know any deer track that you cut is going to be super fresh. And if you just follow that track and you just move slowly, very, very slowly, and just creep, they're not going to be too far from that track that you just cut. And I mean, obviously they can be a 1/2 mile, a mile from where you cut that track, but you're gonna end up seeing that deer if it's snowed overnight and it's the morning and you're following that track. You're gonna end up seeing them. And if the snow is older and there's snow that has been there for like a week, then you're gonna be able to cut tracks and you're gonna essentially find their heaviest deer trails. So the same way, you just take that heavy deer trail to find their bedding, find their feeding area, and just set up on them heavy trails entering or leaving the bedding or feeding area. All right, on to number 3, deer drives. All right, I have talked about deer drives many times in these podcasts, but late season deer drives can be super effective, and we utilize this tip all the time, and we basically do deer drives all season. Late season deer are normally hanging out in numbers in like a nice sized herd, so whether you're buck hunting or meat hunting, pushing 20 deer past you late season will sure give you an opportunity to lay something down. And if you guys are just don't know where to start on doing a deer drive, basically just take your shooter, whoever has the weapon, whether it be bow or shotgun or rifle, whatever it may be, and you put them on one end of the woods, and you want to basically maximize your efforts. So if you have a funnel or a creek on one side or a fence on one side or a wall on one side, basically anywhere a pusher can push the deer, basically walk at the deer and scare the deer from them to the shooter so they can get a shot. If they can push them into a funnel and basically a more advantage for you guys, basically just improving your rate of success if you can push them to where they can't bust out the left side or the right side in the drive. So ideally, it's just like imagine ranchers trying to herd cow. If there was no fences on either side of the cow, then they would just run everywhere. So if you have 2 fences and the deer are running straight down the fence line and they're running right towards the shooter, you're going to have a high success rate on getting a shot opportunity. Obviously, this is not how it happens in the woods. So if you have a creek on the right side or a river or a fence or a wall or a road, then if you push them along these obstacles to where they have to run straight and towards the shooter, then you're going to improve your success rate. And if whether it's one-on-one deer drives, whether it's one shooter, one pusher, or if it's one pusher, 2 sitters, the more people you have, the more chances of pushing the deer successfully to the shooters. So 3 pushers, 3 sitters, or 2 pushers, 4 sitters, whenever it may be. That's how you maximize your efforts during deer drives. And I personally love deer drives. If you guys have not seen a deer drive or have never heard of a deer drive, if you go into our channel and just search up Obviously Outdoorsman deer drives or just New Jersey deer drives, bow drives, we do a lot of driving deer on our channel and just in our hunts in general. We just shoot a ton of doe. We lay down a lot of venison for our freezer, and we shoot big bucks doing this as well. So don't think it's just a doe tactic to where you're going to push a doe herd past you of just 20 does and there's never going to be a buck in that group. There's a lot of times big bucks move through these deer drives, and you just got to be ready and choose wisely when you see deer coming. Don't shoot the first deer if you see 20 more deer behind them. So just be wise, and again, try and be proactive during these late season months, because these deer, they're cold, especially when it's super, super frigid and it's like midday. They're going to be soaking up sun. So when they're bedding midday and you're in your tree stand, you're wasting your time because they're bedding. They're trying to get warm. So you need someone to come kick them in their ass and push these deer right into your lap. Make them come to you. And don't wait for them to come to you. Make them come to you. You be the one that influences the deer during a deer drive. But on to number 4. But before we get to number 4, I just want to say again, if you guys are new to Obviously Outdoorsman, I would really appreciate if you guys just head over, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social medias you guys use. If you guys want to shoot bigger bucks and catch bigger fish, please hit the subscribe button and please follow us. And if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment down below in this video, or just comment or DM us or email us at obviouslyoutdoorsman@gmail.com. We respond to every email, every comment, just to try and help you guys out. But back to number 4. Like I talked about earlier, where you focused on bedding and food late season, number 4 is focusing your efforts around food sources and bait. Corn pile or cornfield and food plots will be hit hard during late season times. Field edges or over food plots or stands over corn will produce great results late season. When it's late season and it's wintertime and it's post-rut, they're focusing on replenishing their nutrition, essentially. They're replenishing their body, replenishing their body weight. They're trying to fatten back up for the rest of the winter because they just ran themselves rampant during the rut, trying to breed any doe that would let them breed. So sometimes they will lose 25 to 40% of their body weight during the rut. So obviously during the winter months and these frigid temperatures where they need body fat and body weight to stay warm, then they need to start fattening up quick during this time. So they're going to try and eat as much as they could possibly can. And if there's snow on the ground and there's a foot of snow and all their food sources are kind of covered up, if you just lay some corn down, or if there's standing corn in a field, then if you just hunt around these things that are out there, whether it be a corn pile from a 50-pound bag of corn that you place there, or standing corn out in a field, if you set your stands up around them, you are going to see deer. Whether you're trying to lay just doe down for your freezer or bucks, these deer are going to be there. You just have to watch for them being nocturnal. They're going to be there 1,000%. Basically every day, the deer are going to be on food sources of your choice, whether it be your corn pile or standing corn, whatever their food may be. They're going to be there, but they may be nocturnal depending on how smart they are or if they've been spooked out of that food source before. But focus your efforts on bait and food, and you're going to have great success during late season and winter months. On to number 5. All right, contrary to number 4, if the food doesn't work, ditch the food. That's number 5. Ditch the food. If you have bucks only hitting your cameras and your food sources at night, leave the food and field edges and work back into the woods. Take a step off that giant open food plot and these giant fields and just work back into the woods and focus on the thick funnels or thick cover close to food. A lot of times when you have a buck that's nocturnal, that will just, he's probably not too far from the food, and they're just waiting for nightfall to show their face. So a lot of times when you have a nocturnal buck, they're not too far from that food. They're just smart and they know not to show their face in the daytime in that area, whether they have bad experience before on neighboring property. Even if you've been perfect and never spooked this deer before in your life, this mature buck, and it had a bad experience on a neighboring property, if it's standing corn or a corn pile and they just had a bad experiences a mile down the road, then they know any corn piles they're going to associate with danger. So they're basically just going to wait till nightfall where they have the cover of darkness, and that's when they're going to come in and feed. It's not that they're not going to hit it. They're going to hit it. They just might wait until nightfall because they associated that food source with danger. They'll just hang out just off the field or just off away from the feeding area. Even if it's your corn pile, they're just going to hang out in a thicket, just waiting for nightfall. So if you just push your stand back, so away from your food source, even if it's your corn pile, and if you have a corn pile out, if you place corn on the ground to feed the animals to try and harvest them, obviously, put a camera on them and put a stand over the corn. Because if you don't, that would just, it wouldn't be a waste, but it would be like anti-proactive. So put a stand over that. But if you find that you have a buck coming in nocturnal and just always overnight, so let's say it gets dark at 5 p.m. and that deer's coming in 6 p.m. every night. After shooting light, it's dark, you've packed up and you went to your truck. If you basically develop a pattern and figure out which way that deer is always coming in. So if he's coming in from the right side of your camera every time, and you know there's a heavy trail coming out of that thick cover down the creek over there, like 300 yards away, just in that thick shit, then if you just follow that trail and you set up another stand just anywhere that thick cover is away from your food source, and you know he's coming in from the right, and let's say he's coming in from the right side of your camera and leaving on the left side of your camera, so you know he's either coming in and he's leaving. So if you go to the right, so the next time you hunt, you basically intercept him earlier during the day. It may be 4:45 instead of 6 p.m. because he's just cruising on through, and by the time he gets to your corn, then that's when it's dark. But maybe he's making his way from 4 o'clock. Maybe he's just way a ways from your stand. Just set up some cameras down that trail from where he's coming from, and basically develop a pattern to where he's coming out of his bedding and then hitting your food source. So just move your stand closer to his bedding, figure out where his bedding is, and move your stands closer, but keep baiting your other spot. That way he still has that pattern of hitting your corn pile at 6 p.m., but now you're sitting closer to his bedding. So when he stands up at 4:30 to start making his way to your corn right after shooting light, he's going to stand up and basically walk right into you right before shooting light, and you're going to get a shot at him. So if you develop and implement these tips and tactics into your late season hunting, I promise you're going to have some type of success, whether it just be laying does down or harvesting big bucks or getting big bucks on camera. You're going to find deer. It's just up to you to make that shot. And if you guys want this continuous daily podcast, I ask you guys to subscribe and follow us on all the social media platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And you can always unfollow or unsubscribe from us later, even though I prefer you don't. But if you guys want these continuous videos, and if you guys keep wanting to learn how to shoot a bigger buck and catch bigger fish and just all these outdoors tips and tactics, then please just subscribe to us and just share this video with anyone that you think will find benefit from listening to these tips and tactics, whether it be your mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, your whoever, your teacher, your coworker, your hunting buddy that's stubborn. Just show them this video, give them share this video, and just have them listen to it, and hopefully they will see the light and shoot a bigger buck this year out of this podcast. That is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy your day, and soon we're going to start implementing videos to these podcasts. It's just we do not have time at the moment, and we're basically going to throw in a daily vlog if possible. I don't know, just throwing some thoughts around in here, maybe our gym workouts and how the gym relates to the outdoors, and then going throughout the rest of our day, whether it be fishing, hunting, basically the daily gear maintenance for our outdoor gear. That's our outdoor gear, whether it be lubing our reels or cleaning our reels or tuning our bow, whatever it may be. We may start implementing more of a vlog style to the background of these podcasts, and maybe just vlogs in general in their own video. We're still bouncing a bunch of content ideas around, and if you guys are new, or if you guys just haven't heard yet, we have a new team member, Matty Andrews. He's a killer striper fisherman, great fly fisherman, and just give him a check on Instagram. Just check him out, Matty Andrews. Go check him out on Instagram, JL_Matty on Instagram. And that's really it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy your day, and just, again, subscribe to us if you have not yet already. It will really help us, and comment down below if you have any questions. That is it, guys. I am Mike with Obviously Outdoorsman. Thank you for listening to FLT, or First Light Talk number 34, and with the Obviously Outdoorsman podcast. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay tuned till tomorrow's First Light Talk, which will be First Light Talk number 35. That is it, guys. Enjoy your day. Peace.